Nirmala, this is Mark again. I just want to try something out in terms of audio. Okay. Are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm very much there.
I just want to play on a track. I just want to hear if this is audible to everyone. Okay. I'm just putting something on right now.
Oh, please.
Just a second. I don't think you can hear the track, right?
No.
No? Okay, fine. All right. Trying something else out. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, is this better than before or?
Much better, Mark. Yes.
I'm putting on a bit of an AV track. I just want to hear if this is audible to everyone. 1 second. Is that audible?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm going to try and speak over the music, and I want you ladies to please let me know if it's all clear. Okay? So the track is in the background. I'm speaking over the audio, and I want to know if this is clear or not. All clear?
The track, but then it is there in the background. Yes.
Okay, so we'll have to adjust that then. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of buzzing sounds from phones. I think we'll have
there's
to.
just one phone. Yeah, that will be resolved.
All right.
I have some general instructions to the participants before we begin the program. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box, and we will be taking up those questions at the end of the session. Our feedback form will be posted in the chat box as well as in the live YouTube channel. And please ensure that all 7 days feedback form is filled to get your e-certificate. The audio from the host side is muted for all participants. We request you not to unmute it. Thank you. 5 o'clock. Mark, can we begin?
Right here. I'm right here.
Yeah, fine.
So if you'll give me just another
No,
2
wait.
minutes.
No, wait a minute. We'll start with the prayer and then go on to the welcome address and then only. So shall we begin the program?
Absolutely. Let's start.
Thank you. Good day and welcome to day 6 of the 7-day International Faculty Development Program on Leadership Excellence. The session for the day is on Reflect on Your Purpose as a Leader. Let us begin today's session with a prayer. I now request Ms. Rabia Banu of 2nd BCom CS to recite the prayer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Teen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. Translation. I seek refuge with Allah from the accursed shaitan. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. We have certainly created man in the best of stature. Then we return him to the lowest of the low, except for those who believe and do righteous deeds, for they will have a reward uninterrupted. So, what it causes you to deny the recompense? Is not Allah the most judge of judges? God has spoken the truth. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Rabia.
Welcome.
May I now request Mrs. Shabina Shakir, Assistant Professor from the Department of Corporate Secretaryship and Information Systems Management, to introduce the speaker to the participants.
Thank you, Gayatri ma'am. Good day to one and all. My hearty welcome to all the participants for the 6th day International Faculty Development Program on the topic of Leadership Excellence, organized by the Department of Corporate Secretaryship and Information Systems Management, Justice Bashir Ahmad Said College for Women, Chennai, India, in collaboration with Guru Coaching and Consulting LLC, Doha, Qatar. I'm honored in welcoming a renowned guest speaker to the webinar, Mr. Mark Lightstone, on the topic of Reflect on Your Purpose as a Leader. Mark Lightstone is an award-winning entrepreneur, trainer, motivational speaker, founder, and a chief executive of Group Avenues, a brand synonymous with a personal transformation and youth development. Group Avenue is recognized as a leading indigenous force for life skills training and career skills in Northeast India. He is pioneering social entrepreneur whose coaching framework for personal growth and well-being has impacted over 50,000 lives in India's northeastern region. Over the course of the last 16 years, he has emerged as the region's leading authority in life coaching interventions for youth and leadership development for the executives and entrepreneurs. His unique philosophy unlocks confidence, clarity, and purpose for everyone and takes forward his personal mission to help people to own their stories and embrace their impact in an uncertain world. He is an awarded for his commitment to human resource development by Rotary and a recipient of multiple awards for entrepreneurship. Mark Lightstone has also served as a founding curator for the Global Shapers community at the World Economic Forum, as well as the founding state co-chair in 2015-16 for CIA's Young Indians Meghalaya chapter. He is currently an council member of Confederation of Indian Industry. We welcome you, sir, and we are thankful for accepting our invite. I extend a warm welcome to all the participants for the penultimate day of the FTB. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabina. I now invite the speaker of the day to take over the session.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all this evening, and I must first of all extend a very warm note of gratitude to the Justice Bashar Ahmed Syed College for Women, and of course to Guru Consulting and Coaching for choosing to invite me to this beautiful platform. First of all, namaskar, good evening, and I'm checking in from a corner of the country that you all know as the northeast of India. And I'm very honored to be sharing this platform with some very eminent speakers from across the world, some of them friends of my own. And I followed some of the conversations over the last few days, and I'm very excited to speak about your sense of purpose and what drives you to work every day. So, on that note, I understand that we have a few roles to be played this evening, a few rules that have been rolled out as well. I believe that everyone is on mute. So, just for the sake of saying a quick hello to everyone, uh, there will be a certain point during this activity and during the evening where I will ask you to unmute your microphones and to turn on your cameras so we can all wave each other a very quick hello or a goodbye, but that will happen in due course of time. For now, we're just going to start with a small little note on what I think would set the tone for our evening. Now, if you're with me and if I'm audible and all is clear so far, if you could please send a comment in the message boxes saying, I'm with you. Okay, that would be wonderful of you. Just please put that into the comment box and we can see if everyone is here. Just send me, I'm with you. And I'd really appreciate that. Oh, lovely. Seems like a lot of people are with us this evening. Thank you very much. So as was previously mentioned, my name is Mark Lightflung Stone. And a little bit about the Lightflung in the middle. I come from the tribal communities of our country. The tribe that I belong to is the Khasi tribe. And in our language, we say Kublai, which is Khasi for thank you. So I'm going to teach you all that this evening, a word from my language, Kublai. And we come from the hills of Meghalaya. As you know, Meghalaya, if you weren't aware in Sanskrit, means the abode of the clouds, the land where the clouds come home. And if I could take my camera out and show you the beautiful sunset and the clouds, you'd understand why the late great legend Rabindranath Tagore chose Shillong to be the capital for his writing, and he frequently visited the city of ours. So I'm very grateful to be joining you from Shillong, very grateful to be joining you from the foothills of the Himalayas in Meghalaya. And I bring to you a very, I hope, will be a very interesting and engaging conversation on why we choose to do what we do in the world as teachers, as leaders, as guides to people who are younger, at the same age as us, older and much wiser, but to a large, diverse audience. So, Shillong, capital of your Meghalaya. Yes, thank you for seeing that, Mr. Imran. All right. So I'm going to pull up something on the screen right now, and I hope that that can become the tipping point for this conversation. The topic for this evening is a very interesting theme, and I do want to share some thoughts on that before I begin. I have personally been a part of what we call the non-formal education ecosystem for tribal youth development in the country. My organization is very aptly named Avenues. And for those of you who are aware, you'll know the word avenues means a path, it means a road. And to quote one of the greatest verses of poetry that have greatly inspired me all my life, one road leads on to the other. And I'm forever grateful for the road that I chose, the road less traveled on. As an entrepreneur and as a social entrepreneur, especially in our corner of the world, support for anything that has to do with the development of youth, of tribal, indigenous, equal opportunity and of access to those opportunities is very difficult. I'm speaking to you about my own personal journey for a few minutes before we delve into why this relates to all of us. And I'm going to call all of us educators. Why this relates to all of us educators in a world where things are, number one, absolutely different from when we woke up 3 months ago. Things are completely different now. Number two, where things are so clearly about employing many skill sets that we didn't know we needed till we discovered we couldn't enter a classroom anymore. And number three, where the quality of our company and the quality of the people that we work with is something that is a great discerner for how we lead the rest of our lives and the choices we make. So, on that note, uh, the topic for the evening is what we call purpose. A purpose is a huge word, you know. I mean, it's a very dangerous word to try and accommodate because it means so many things to so many people. And I do want to set the ground for what I'm going to say with a very important comment. Number one, I feel deeply honored and privileged to be on this platform because, to be very honest with you, I don't share the qualifications that you all have. I'm not educationally as well endowed as some of the amazing personalities who are participants here. So I come from a place of being someone who was educated but was not able to achieve the higher level of doctorate studies that are the privilege of a certain few. I have, however, tried to create an environment, an ecosystem that helps young tribal boys and girls achieve the dreams that they seek for their lives. And I want to start on that note. The word I want to start with this evening is a word called aspiration. Now, I don't know what your aspirations were when you were growing up, but for me, if anybody would like to take a guess, you'd never believe it. My first aspiration as a boy of 6 years old was to be an astronaut. I wanted to be one of the first men on the moon from our country. I wanted to be in a rocket, and I wanted to be one of those boys with dreams in their eyes who'd grow up and be a spaceman. You know, somebody who would be up there in a galaxy far, far away, doing some wonderful things for our planet back home. Unfortunately, that was not to be. I grew up in an environment where militancy was around the corner in the Northeast. We grew up in a time of curfews. We grew up in a time where we were not sure if schools would even continue. I grew up in a time where opportunity was not equal and where tribal boys and girls like myself lacked the opportunity that such wonderful educators as yourselves now present to the world through an online platform or through many other digital mediums that we had no access to. I say this to you because in our corner of the world, to choose to educate someone else, to choose to be a teacher, is probably the last career option that anybody would have in mind. I'm very certain, and I've spoken about this topic across a number of audiences, and for every audience that I go to, I ask this very critical question, and I will ask you this question as well today. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, how many of us actually chose education or the pursuit of education as an aspiration, as a dream, as something we said was our number one choice? And how many of us were actually moved into this because we had no other choice? Let me give you the statistics based on whatever I've learned so far from the talks I've done across the world. Out of every 10 people I speak to who are teachers, who are educators, who are administrators, only 2 people will raise their hands and ever say to me, I chose to be in this profession. I chose to be a teacher. I chose to be an educator. I chose to be an administrator. It will be just 2 out of 10 people, if we're lucky, who will say, I chose to be here. A great number of people do not choose this path. but find themselves on the path of education and educating other people because they had no other choice. But there are a few, the rare few, who have turned what was not a choice. It may not have begun as a choice for you, but they've turned it into something that is a passion. They've chosen to discover something that they can leave behind in the world because of the work that they do. And they're proud of it, and they live it, and they breathe it every day. For me, I feel that a lot of our childhood dreams get lost along the way because of practicality and because of the lack of access to opportunity. I'm so happy to see that while a few of you have said that you did not choose, there are quite a number who are saying that they have chosen by passion to pursue teaching. And I love seeing this response. But take my word for it, and you'll probably know this because you are far more experienced and educated than I am. I'm very certain that if you walk into a rural setting or a suburban setting, the numbers in our country, the numbers across the developing economies of the world are largely in the developing sectors of our rural economies. So the large populace of our students don't come from urban uh, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. The large populace of students and the large number of students who are required to be taught come from rural populaces. And the sad truth is, a teacher in rural India today, more often than not, is a teacher not by choice, is an educator not by choice. And the sad truth about that is the fact that if it isn't a choice, and if you haven't found a reason to come to work every day, that's more than just the designation. That's more than just the money. You will wake up every morning feeling like you're stuck in a rut and you have absolutely nowhere else to head to because that's all you've ever thought you'd become. That's the last option for you. So for a lot of teachers that we work with in our corner of the world, teaching is literally the last choice. It is not a celebrated profession by many people. Which brings me to why we are here this evening. So many of you, and this is so beautiful to see, are choosing to be on this platform. We have over 350, 360 participants right now who are choosing to be here by choice. Now, I don't know if you can see me, and I don't know if you're going to do this with me, but I want you to take out your right hand right now with me, all right? Now, I know that I don't know a lot about a lot of things, but I know a lot about making a promise to yourself. The work that we do in Northeast India is committed to helping young people discover that when you make a promise to yourself and you make a promise to the world around you, you say what you mean and you mean what you say because you are responsible for your choices. You are responsible for the path you will tread, and you are responsible for the fires that will burn the things around you or the fires that will light a spark of passion around you. You are responsible. So if you are with me, like you said you were, the one thing that I know I can do is connect with someone at a very deep human level. And I want us to connect this evening, even though we are miles apart, even though you are there and I'm here. I want you to take your right hand out. Imagine that I can see your hand. If it's there, I'd love to see it. Pull that into a fist with me right now, okay? If you can hear me, if you can see me, let's do this together. This is our first activity. If you're on a webcam, you can shake your hand at me and I can see your hand. That would be beautiful, okay? And say, I'm here. I just want two words from you. I'm here. Because when you say I'm here, that's a choice you're making. Let's do it together, shall we? On the count of 3. Your hands out against the camera. If you want to put your video on, thank you so much, Gayatri. I'm so grateful. And you say to yourself with your hand over your heart, I'm here. Beautiful. I can literally hear 300 voices going, I'm here. And if that's what you're saying, then I want you to now very, very quickly put that hand into a fist and don't just say I'm here. Say, I choose to be here. It's a choice. Okay, together. 1, 2, 3. I choose to be here. And I want to hear that from you. To yourself, I choose to be here. And now that you're done with that, I'm going to give you a round of applause, because that is the way we choose to stand our ground. You know, there's a very popular saying in English, and I'm going to say it for you, and I know you've heard it before. If you know what the finishing is, you can finish it here on these messages, all right? The phrase is, the grass is always, please complete it for me. I know you know what it is. The grass is always
Greener on the
I'm
other
going to wait
side.
for your messages. Yes, absolutely. I'd love to see the messages here. There I can see it, greener on the other side, greener on the other side. Yes, the grass is always greener there. You know where there is anywhere else apart from where you are, right? We're always looking at the next best opportunity, the next best qualification, the next best teacher, the next best award, the next best research scholar. And we're forgetting that a lot of the cliches that we grew up listening to are just not true. Let me tell you how one such cliche can be changed right now if we choose to. And it has a lot to do with purpose. And I'll tell you why. Say it with me, all right? If you're with me, to yourselves, let's say these words. The grass is greenest, not over there. Okay? For me, the grass is greenest where I choose to water it. Whatever you choose to nurture, whatever you choose to water, grows greener because you made that choice. No one forced you to do it. No one told you, hey, you have no options. This is all you can do. You choose to water the grass you stand on. That's a metaphor for saying you choose to nurture wherever you are. And I love the word nurture. Nurture comes from motherhood, from fatherhood, from parenting. It talks about taking something that is so infinitesimally small and turning it into something that you can be proud of. You nurture it, you give it care. So we say to each other that we turn these cliches around and stop believing in the things we've always heard. The grass isn't always greener there. The grass is greenest where we choose to water it. Now, I'm a father. I have a daughter, and she's currently 10 years old. She'll be 11 in a few months. My son just turned 6. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about something very personal this evening. And I hope that you will give me the privilege of being able to share this in trust with you. I see a lot of questions coming in, and we will take them all here. All right, we'll take them all ahead. Thank you very much for joining the session, everyone. So I'm pulling up something on the screen for you right now, and I hope that you can see it. Here we go. I'm sharing my screen, and it is the first slide of a presentation that I hope will be of some value and some meaning to you. I'm calling today's session Purpose in an Uncertain World. Nothing is the same. Everything has changed around us. What we thought was a fact is now something that is a part of our baggage from the past. And we are now building a new world where everything is uncertain, but there is one thing that can always be certain, and that is the choice we make to come to work every day because of the purpose we choose to believe in. What is that choice? I want to quickly take you through something very special. This is a photograph. It's a photograph of my daughter when she was, I think she was about 5 here. And it was the very first holiday that I could take my family on. Now, I worked with over 50,000 young boys and girls, with over 100 corporate teams, and with educators just like you and I, over a career that spanned 18 years. I'm in my 18th year now as a social entrepreneur, and I started very, very young. My career as an entrepreneur started at 16. My career as an educator started at 20. I won my first national award for entrepreneurship and social enterprise at 24. So I've literally built whatever I have had from scratch. And when you've built things from scratch and you have the privilege of traveling the world and running workshops for people, and you belong to a small village or to a small town or to a small city, the fear we have is, are we even relevant? Why should the world listen to us? Why is your story so important now in a world where there are billionaires and founders and Nobel Prize winners and award winning teachers? Why does your story matter? When she was 5, we were taking a drive, and my daughter asked me a beautiful question. And I'm going to put it across to you right now. Her question was, Daddy, what's a leader? And when you have to explain this to a child who's 6, I tell you, it changes the way you think about life. So I'm going to take that question off the screen right now. And I'm going to ask each of you to tell me on your little comments there, if you had to speak to a child who was 5, you know them, you have them in your family, maybe a son, maybe a daughter, maybe a niece, maybe a friend's child, maybe a nephew. What would you call a leader? What is the word you would use to describe a leader to a child of 5? And remember, this child will not understand big words. She or he will understand something very simple. Please tell me what would be your word. How would you explain this to a child? What is a leader? That's a beautiful answer. You are a leader. I can see something else here. Your mother, your father is a leader. Someone else is sharing a screen here. Thank you, but we will keep it to the screen. A father, like a dad. Your parents are leaders. I can see we have taken some religious names here as well. Your dad is, I see a lot of parents here. Father, mother is a leader. Okay, all right. Leadership comes with responsibility. People who help you are leaders. Thank you. So I'm going to take the next two answers. A guider, like your father. Okay. Someone has said searching within me. That's a very truthful answer. The person who gave you birth is a leader. That's a beautiful answer. All right. So I am now going to share my screen one more time to tell you what I told my daughter. So the question was, what's a leader? And I've heard some very, very interesting responses. You know, when you're talking about what is a leader, there is a more critical question that we must ask ourselves. And the question that I will ask you today is, who are you? I'm not going to say too much, but I do have a very exciting quiz for you. It's a survey, okay? It's a poll. I'm very quickly going to ask you to help me answer this question through a survey, okay? Here's how we're going to do it. I am stopping my screen sharing. I'm going to be sharing a link in the comments of a survey that you will all conduct with yourselves right now. All you have to do is click on the link and answer the question. Okay, here we go. I am sharing a link with you right now. I'm starting the survey and I'm sharing this link with you, and I will show you live what your results are. Just a second, everyone. Let me share the link with you right now. Okay, if you look at the Zoom chat window, I've sent you a link. I'm sending it to everyone on this group. 1 second, here we go. Here is your link, everyone. Please click on that link. You can see it right now. I've sent it to your screen. If you cannot see the link, I'm going to leave it here on the screen. You can use your camera phone, and you can scan the barcode. Okay, I'm sharing it with you right now, everyone. Just a second, please. Otherwise, please click on the link. I'm pasting it one more time in the Zoom chat box. This will be a lot of fun. Let's see what responses we get, and I will show it to you live. Can you see the link on the chat box? You will see it right there. And I'm going to pull up a screen, a barcode that you can read, so it will help you scan this result even better. Okay, here we go, everyone. I'm putting it up on the screen for you and you can scan this in, okay? Sharing the screen, there we go. Please scan this with your camera. This will lead you to the survey immediately. It's very quick. All right. In the meantime, I am going to check out the results of my survey live and we will see what responses. See, we can already see our responses coming in. I don't know if you can see the screen. Miss Gayatri, if you can see the screen, please give me 2 thumbs up with your thumbs. I can see you.
To do the voting part of it. Just a minute, just a minute. I'll come back. Yes, I am able to see it.
Beautiful. So
Yes.
I would like to see these answers coming in right now. You can see a lot of people are voting. The scores are coming in live. So far, 141 participants have voted. That's excellent. Let's see the rest of it now. I'm waiting for everyone to vote and then we will do a very quick case study based on this. Okay, here we go. Teacher seems to be the majority, leader, a friend, a student. If you've all got the link, I'm sharing it one more time on my screen. Please scan this link with your camera. It will take you to the website and you can choose your option, okay? Please scan it. I'm leaving this here for a little while longer and we'll go back to the results very, very shortly. So the question was, and I'm going back to my results, the question was, what do you consider your role to be right now? What is your role in life? And remember, the question my daughter asked me was, Daddy, what's a leader? And my question to you was, who are you? And here are the answers, they're coming in. Remember, this question has multiple choices. You can choose more than one option. You don't have to choose just one. The survey allows for multiple responses to come in. So far, 169 participants have voted. Thank you so much. So nice to see. I'm going to wait till we get to at least 250 participants. We're almost there, everyone. We're at 172 participants now. Remember, this is the screen. Please scan this in with your camera and you will go straight to the survey. If you don't have it, I'm typing it out one more time in the message box. I'm pulling up the chat window one more time here. And I'm one more time giving it to you. You can look in your chat box right now, everyone. I'm pasting the link one more time for those who don't have it. Please look in the chat box. You'll see it again. I'm pasting it every 2 seconds so you get it. Here we go. Everyone in the meeting, I've just sent you the link. You can click on that link at any point in time. I'm closing the survey in exactly 2 minutes, everyone. Please go ahead and vote. This is a small exercise. I see some wonderful comments coming in here. I'm a good follower of my parents and try to be a good leader like them. Here we go. Now, I have left out things such as researcher, doctorate fellow, administrator. I've kept some very generic terms for the poll, okay? You can only vote for one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas. There's a reason for this, okay? So you're either a teacher, a leader, a friend, a student, a parent, a son or a daughter. I've asked just for these to be filled in and for you to choose what you are in your life. I think in very, very large ways and in small ways, we can say we fit into one of these roles. Remember, no survey is complete. It is just an idea that is represented on paper to show us the pulse of the room this evening. Okay, we are now at, I think we're good to go. We're at 214, 215, 16 participants. Great. I'm messaging it one more time for anybody who did not get the link. I'm doing it one last time. Here we go. Okay, everyone, one more minute. We're closing the survey after that, okay? It's very interesting to see. So I see that there's a lot of people here who are choosing multiple options. Some are choosing both teacher and parent. Some are choosing leader and teacher and friend. Some are choosing sons and daughters and students. Very interesting. But the majority, I think, here are choosing teaching. The majority are choosing parents. Here we go. Good. And I think we are at a good number to close the survey. And I'm going to leave this on the screen for everyone. That's wonderful. We've had 233 votes in so far. Almost done, I think. 234. Great. 235. So I'm closing the poll. I'm very sorry, everyone. We must continue. So I'm stopping the poll right now at 238 participants. I think there's a few more coming in. 238. That's it. Okay, I'm stopping the poll. Here we go. And we are going to our results. So if you can all see the screen, I'm pulling that up for everyone here. One second, please. Here we go. Pulling that up for you. You will see that the majority are on 136 people have said that you are teachers in this room this evening. There are so many parents here. 95 participants here are also parents. I love how there are 44 friends, okay, in the group. You consider yourself a friend to someone else. But what I'm surprised to see is that the word leader is at just 50. So what we're saying is, and you remember the survey allowed you to choose more than one option. It wasn't just one. You could have chosen teacher and leader and friend and student. So the options were open to you, which means that a lot of you did not choose to select the word leader as a description for yourself. A lot of you chose to use the word teacher as a description for yourself. Yes, I'm a teacher. Yes, I'm a parent. A lot of you are children of parents. Yes, I'm a son and daughter. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you actually do put in some thought into this answer, and I know this is just a very fun exercise. I'm back on screen now. I hope that was a very small distraction from the world we're in right now. But if you do look at those 6 options, I think you will agree that we play one role or the other at some part of our lives. You're either a parent, or you're a child to someone else, or you're a teacher. But I was so sad to see that such a small number of you chose to select the word leader. You know, a very interesting interview that I overheard of our late president of the country, a great gem of a man, an institution in himself, Dr. Just one second. An institution in himself. Now, I want to ask you if any of you know who is the one person who has been a great educator. He was called the rocket man of the country. Who is the president that I'm speaking of this great nation called India? He was called the rocket man of our country. I'd like to see your answers. I'm sure you know. Is it there? I'm just looking at the answers here. There you go. Everyone knows the name. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. A beautiful interview he did a few years ago that was captured. And if none of you know, I have a very deep connection with our late president because he passed away to another realm while he was in Shillong. I hosted his memorial service in Shillong. So I saw the man, the stature, and there are a few people in the world who will walk into a room and they will leave everyone either in silence because of the respect of their aura or in complete wonder and awe because of the magnanimity of their spirit. He was such a man, so humble, so gentle, yet so powerful with his presence. And when he was asked at an interview, how would you like to be remembered most? As the scientist who changed the spacefaring trajectory of our country, as a political leader, as a head of state, Do you know what his answer was? His answer was, I want to be remembered as a teacher. In his heart, in spite of his many achievements, to him being remembered as a teacher was the greatest tribute to humanity a human being could admit to. And when you think about a leader, I think the simplest answer we can give a child is a leader is first a teacher. And a teacher doesn't teach merely by words. You teach life, you teach love, you teach loss, you teach an education by example, by the actions you take every single day. So when I spoke to my daughter, you know what I said to her? I wish I had this answer for her on that day, but I had something that I thought would be much more understood by a child of 5. I said to her, you know, Maisha, her name is Maisha, a leader is a person who makes good choices every day for everyone. And I want you to say this with me. If you believe that at some point in your life you're a leader, and you know that your job today, while it's called teaching, your job is building the next generation of leaders who will take this nation forward. And you must remember that it is our generation, our parents' generation, who have made the mistakes on our planet that our children will now inherit. Our children are going to inherit a time on this planet when nothing is certain. They are inheriting challenges that none of us could have foreseen. They are inheriting hurdles to our infrastructure, to our environment, to our climate that we knew were coming, but none of us, nor you nor I, did enough to stop. Yes, small actions were taken. Yes, small little meetings were had. Yes, nations came together and made a big show of how things would change in the world. But it's taken a virus to completely reset humanity. And none of us were prepared for the challenges that we now face. We are teaching our children by the examples we set today, the examples you set now, by the actions you take now, what leadership must look like, what teaching must look like, what democracy what must look like, what scientific research must look like. You are teaching it now, and your purpose today certainly wasn't the purpose with which you joined your career maybe 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Our purpose, and I want you to know this, keeps evolving. Purpose is not fixed in a small little box that you call life. I think the beauty of purpose is when we recognize that we can allow purpose to change, to evolve, to be better, to be higher, to serve a larger purpose. And sometimes the greatest purpose that can be served are in the smallest rooms of our country, in the classrooms that are shaping the future, and in the students' eyes. You know, there's something that I call a light in a student's eye. Your job as an educator, my job as a fellow educator, is to walk into a room and allow a young person to see how education, how meaningful action can turn on the light of fire in their eyes, can turn on the light of meaning in their lives, can turn on the switch that says, I am responsible for the choices I make every day, that can turn on the switch in their minds that says, from today onwards, because of a teacher, I am willing to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I am going to quickly share my screen now and give you a little moment to think about the next few words. This is linked to the word purpose. And I hope that we are now able to see that purpose is not just a word. Purpose is so much more than just what we do. Purpose is, say it with me, Purpose is why we do it. Can you join me in saying it, please? Take your hands out right now. This is a very important body language cue. It's called a power stance. Okay. I'm going to put my camera away from me, and wherever you are in the world, wherever you're watching this, I want you to take your right hand out with me right now. Put your thumb over your index finger like this. Okay. Let's do something together to truly tell ourselves that we are capable and responsible. Put your left thumb over your finger like this. You can see me doing it. Okay. I want you to turn to the camera right now, like you're on a national television station, all right? And I want you to put your hand out there, your fingers to your thumb pointing at the world, and you're going to tell the world something that you've never said before. Are you with me? If you are, let's say this. Say, I'm with you. I don't need you to type out a message. I want you to say it with me. I'm with you.
I'm with you.
And here's what we're going to do, all right? You're going to start by using these three words. Okay? Say it with me. Purpose
Purpose
is
is
now. That's it. Purpose is now. What you're doing right now. My mother always told me, if you're in a moment and you do whatever you can to be the best that you can in that moment, that's it. That's your purpose. Your purpose has the power to evolve and change with life's various trajectories. Today, you may be a
Sorry, Mark, I have unmuted all so that we can have this exercise once again.
yes. To be able to do it.
Mark, I think you can take it from here.
Mute. Well, I'm unable to mute our participants.
Mute them all. Mark, you could unmute yourself.
I'm here. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was a lot of noise, but I think we're all visible now. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a very, very quick session on what I call affirmation. Affirmation is what you choose to say to yourself when you're in doubt about your purpose. And we've always spoken about the fact that for my daughter, when I had to explain to her, what does purpose really mean? What does leadership really mean? My answer was very simple. It's making the right choices every day for everyone. The best choice that you can make right now is to be the best that you can be in the moment that you're in. In this moment right now, you are many things. You're a teacher, you're a friend to someone, you may be a father to someone else, you may be a mother to someone. We're definitely children to our parents. You're a guide to someone, you're a motivator, an inspiring person. And you know, one of the truest things I've ever heard has been the fact that no matter what you think of yourself, and no matter who you believe yourself to be, you are always inspiring someone. And you don't even know whom, but you're always setting an example by the actions you take. So together, everyone, let's do this exercise together, okay? I want you to put your thumb over your finger and point at the camera like I'm doing it right now. Your camera is right there. I'm looking at you and I'm saying this to you. Yes, you, each of you, okay? Thumb on your finger. Take your other hand out, your other thumb and your finger there as well, okay? Now, I can see some very senior academicians saying, what is this fool trying to do? If we cannot behave like children at some point in our lives, we're forgetting who we are teaching. We're all children inside. So here we go, everyone, okay? I want your thumbs on your fingers and I want us all to look like fools just for 2 minutes, okay? Are you with me? If you are, let's do it together, okay? Here we go. I've got my hands out. Miss Gayatri, I can't see your hands. I need them at the camera. Okay, Nirmala, I can see you too. That's awesome. And don't hide this. Remember, this is going to be epic. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, let's do it together, shall we? So take that right hand out like a leader, like a lion in the wild. Okay, I'm going to take my glasses off because I'm going to get a little passionate here. Okay, like a lion. I want you to make a very funny noise with me, but you're going to do it with power. Okay, we are going to roar. Okay, you know what a roar is? You say roar, and I want you to make that noise like you're an animal in the wild. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Roar! Come on, I want to hear you say it. I can see all of you smiling and laughing, but I can't hear it. Okay, I want to hear a roar. R-O-A-R, like a lion in the wild. Okay, here we go again. Roar! 1, 2, 3. Here we go. I think I can hear close to 400 voices going raw, and that's a beautiful way to start. Now, you take your hand out like you're a warrior going to fight, okay? Your fists are up, and remember, one of the greatest things I've ever heard is if your purpose is strong enough, life is not going to be easy. It will not be a walk in the park. It will not be a beauty scene. It will be tough. It will beat you to your knees. But your power of purpose and how much you believe in what you do will get you back to your feet all the time. So here you go. Put your hand out, and this is what counts, okay? Say it with me. I choose. Come on, let's say it together. 1, 2, 3. I choose to be here. Got it? That's number one. I choose to be here. Now, when you have time, you're going to write this down. I have my colleague in the room, Iba Sara, who will write this down and give me a note on this later. Here's your first affirmation for the day. Say it again. 1, 2, 3. I choose to be here. Second thing, when you know that you are being conquered by doubt and that you're afraid and that you're wondering, why am I even teaching anymore? What is the point of all that I'm doing? Why am I stuck in this rut? Why should I get up tomorrow and come back to my rooms? Why should I drive myself to work and teach when these children are not even grateful? You know what you tell yourself? Here's what you do, okay? Hands together, you thump your chest like I'm doing it right now, and you say, I'm always inspiring someone. You have to believe this. I'm always inspiring someone. Miss Gayatri, I can see your mouth moving and I know you're following it, and I'm very happy. Give me 5. I'm giving you a 5 out there on the camera. Thank you very much. Hey, Nirmala, I can see you. Give me a 5. I can see that too. Okay. So our second phrase was, I am always inspiring someone. But the third thing, which is the most important thing of all, and I've seen so much power in this statement. Remember this. To every young person who's listening right now, and you're all young, I don't care what age you are, there's a child in you. There's a boy or a girl who was 6 years old who had no fear of anything. You remember how you were when you were 6? You remember what it was like when you were 5? You remember what it was like to run when you had no fear? I know that look. I see it in my audiences when I leave, and I will see it in your eyes today. And that look is a look of absolutely no fear because you are driven by something more powerful than just a salary. You're driven by something more powerful than just a title or a job. You're driven by a sense of responsibility because you know that you're always inspiring someone. And you know that no matter what you've gone through, all the hurdles, all the pain, all the struggle, all the breaking, all the wins, all the losses, no matter what you've gone through, you are standing here today, right? You are here now. And that was a choice you made, ladies and gentlemen. So no matter what it is, that third statement, which I will teach you now, which you already know, but you've never said before like this, you will say it like you've never said it before. Here we go. Are you ready? And this is important. I want you to breathe in very deeply on the count of 3, okay? Put your back up straight. I'm doing it with you. Show me both your hands, okay? If you have a mobile phone, show me one hand, okay? Put that on your lap here in front of you, or put it in front of your hands with the mobile phone, okay? And I want you to take a deep breath in on the count of 3, okay? A deep breath, and you will follow me. And I promise you, if you do it like this, it will change your life like it changed mine. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Hold that breath and say these words with me. I am enough. You will say it like you mean it. 3 words. That's all it takes. I am enough. Together with me, please. On the count of 3, okay? I believe in the power of these words, and we will do it together like a family of change makers, like a family of educators who know that we are responsible for far more than just that salary in the bank. We are responsible for the lives we touch and the choices we make every day for everyone. Let's say it together, shall we? I don't want to see messages now. You're going to say it for yourselves. Okay? Stop the typing. No more messages. This is between you, yourself, and your soul. Together with me on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I am enough. And you say it like you mean it. I am enough. Because if you weren't enough, you wouldn't be standing here right now. If you weren't enough, you wouldn't have the dreams that you've pursued. If you weren't enough, you wouldn't have gotten through those lonely nights, and you wouldn't be standing here today. You've always been enough. Your purpose is knowing that the moment that you're in is everything. I want that to rest with you for a while. I'm going to share a very special slide with you that I hope will add some meaning. We have another Ms. Guru, Ms. Gayatri. I'm so sorry. I think we're running out of time. I have just another 7 minutes with your permission. Would that be okay? Yes, I can see. If you can show me your thumbs, I'd be happy.
Yeah, sure. I think 7 minutes is fine. Yes.
Fine. Thank you very much. Okay. And then we'll head into our questions and answers. So I do want to share 3 very important slides with you and just leave it at that. Here we go. I want you to look at the word on the screen. If you remember, when we started this entire discussion, my question to you was, who are you? And I think that we are the combination of a few words. You know it's true. The things that people remember most are the things we forget to do. The promises we make and the promises we break. You are the promises you make. But most importantly, you are also the promises you break. You're remembered for those things. You are the company that you keep. It's so true that the quality of your companionship, the quality of your mentors, the quality of your friends can either build your sense of purpose or can completely destroy it. As an entrepreneur and an educator who has been through 18 years of building a social enterprise that has worked with 50,000 young people, I can tell you the power of a good friend is the power of leadership in your life. And a good friend is not somebody who just says, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. A good friend will tell you when you're capable and will tell you how to build yourself up when you're not. As teachers, we are our students, whether you like it or not, companion. You're a friend and you are a leader. And as good leaders go, like I told my daughter those years ago, and I will share with you now, the quality of your choices that you make for everyone in your life is the path you will blaze and the legacy you will leave behind. What were the choices you made? And so If you go back to when you were 6 years old, maybe you look like this. I don't know. Happy, completely go lucky. These are a couple of boys from our programs at our centers. When a child smiles, you can see the light on in their eyes. And for them, the only purpose in life is to live the moment well, is to live the moment completely. And I think as we grow up, we forget to do that. We forget to just immerse in the moment and to live our purpose in that time. So I am going to quickly stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to return to a very small segment. It'll just be about 2 minutes long. I have a small little question that I would like you to answer now. And I'm going to ask you to think about this very quickly. If we had more time for a longer session, I would take you through a whole set of experiences that will help you rediscover your values, what drives you as a human being, to rediscover what your purpose is today and how it has changed over time. But what we did today, those three phrases are so critical. They will see you through life when you're stuck in a rut. And remember, you are where you are because of the choices you made. And if the choice was to be in education, if the choice was to be in administration, then we must remember that the choice we made was not just for you or for I, it was for the students we work with every day and for the institutions we lead every day. And for that, like I told my 6-year-old, your choices matter most. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, my question to you is, I have a small blue piece of paper here. Okay. I don't know if you have a piece of paper, but if you do, this is the last thing we will do today. A very quick thing, and it'll be beautiful if you do it with me. All right. If you're with me and you'd like to live this moment right now, please take out a piece of paper like this. I've got a marker with me too. Okay. This is something that we can all do right now. And this will be the last thing we do today. I want you to write down this sentence. Okay. The sentence is, and I'm going to type it out for you and you're going to follow that. I'm going to share my screen with each of you very carefully so that you can see what I'm doing. And I want you to write this down. It's 3 lines. That's it. Okay. And it will change the way you look at purpose. We have exactly 3 more minutes to go. 3 lines. We'll get it done right now. Okay. Here we go. I'm sharing my screen. I'm opening up a Word document for you. So we're all on the same page here. Just a second. Just open up this. I'm opening up a new thing here. 1 second, everyone. Okay, so here we go. I want you to type in these words or write them down on a piece of paper, and I will do them with you too. I am, and I want you to put your name in out there. My name is Mark, so I'm saying I am Mark. Okay, so I've got my first line done. I am Mark, and I am putting in the second sentence now. Okay. Are you with me? Are you ready? Second sentence. I believe in. I want you to put down one powerful word that you consider is your value. I don't know what it is. It could be love. It could be kindness. It could be hard work. It could be persistence. It could be excellence. What is the word that you believe in that defines who you are? It doesn't need to be true today, but it's something you aspire to be. I believe in perfection. I believe in humility. I believe in kindness. Put one word there that you truly believe in as a value that you relate to. I'm putting down my word here, and I will show you what I wrote down. I believe Would you like to see what I wrote down? Now, if you have gotten your answers down, please tell me in the messages whether you put in your answers. Just say yes, just quickly say yes if you're done. And we'll move to the last line. This is the critical line, okay? Let me see it in your chat boxes, please. I hope you've all got a yes going, that you've done your answers. I can see some answers here, lovely answers. Okay. Lovely. 12. Everyone's big yes. Thank you. Whoever said big yes, it's a big yes from me too. Okay. I believe in goodness. I believe in myself. That's what I wrote too. On my piece of paper, if you can see it, I've said, I believe in me. I believe in me. And Nirmala, what have you said? I believe in myself. There we go. Give me 5, lady. Awesome job. So we've got someone who believes in themselves. I believe in success. I believe in God. I can see such beautiful answers. And now, teachers, ladies, gentlemen, educators, administrators, the last line for the evening, the last statement that you will make for yourself is, I'm writing it down for you. Please fill this up as we go along, okay? Here we go. This is slightly longer, but it's the last thing we'll do. I am your name. I believe in the word, whatever you put up there. Now, here is something you have to be honest about, okay? I couldn't answer this honestly, and when I did it for the first time, I was in tears. And if you really do it with meaning, you will too. I, next line, I am afraid of. Can you see that? And you name your fear. What are you afraid of now? I will not give you any answers. This must come from your heart. And for those of you who are brave enough to say it, you are welcome to put a message up on the chat box, or you can show me your pieces of paper because we'll do that anyway a little later on. Okay? I am afraid of. What are you afraid of? We all have fears. I'm certain you have one this evening. When you are done with that, you will not leave a fear unfaced. You will say, but I will, and you will end this statement as you choose to. I want to see what you put down. I am afraid of, but I will. This is your statement, your raw. This is you choosing to conquer that fear. How will you do it? In a very small statement. Just 2 or 3 words. If anybody is brave enough and courageous enough and kind enough, please share your answer in the chat box and I will read out a few of your answers as we go along. I'm afraid of criticism. I'm afraid of my own consciousness. I'm afraid of my ignorance. I'm afraid of a negative mind. I'm afraid of nothing beautiful. I'm afraid of my fears. I'm afraid of the future. I'm afraid of betrayal. I'm afraid of losing. You can see the amount of fears in the room this evening, but now we must conquer them with a very strong aspiration, a very strong affirmation of aspiration. But I will. Okay, just a second, everybody. I'm pulling up the screen right now on which all these points are, and you will see it. Can you see it? I believe in, you've written that down. I am afraid of, you've put that down, but I will. If you've got this done, if you've truly made this happen, I'd like to see your answers, and I will tell you what you achieved in the next 30 seconds. Let me see your answers on the screen, and we will know where we are. Come on, everyone. I can see some beautiful answers coming up. Okay, I'm taking a look at all the comments now and I'm going to read out a few. I will overcome and go ahead. I think that sums it up for a lot of people. I believe in myself, I will get over it. So this last statement, but I will. We will not proceed if you don't finish the statement. Please finish that for yourself. This is a very important personal promise you make yourself. You know, when I first heard this, The first time that I did this for myself, it was in an affirmation group. It was in Geneva in Switzerland. And I broke down because I realized that the one thing I was afraid of was failing my team. I employ close to 65 people, and they're beautiful educators, coaches, instructors. They have families. I have married couples who work with me. I was so scared of losing my team because of me failing them that I couldn't make a good decision. Every decision I wanted to make was a challenge. But I will, these were my words, never give up. This was my promise to myself. And I'm certain that a few of you will have made a promise to yourself as well. And it cannot be as simple as I will do it, I will jump over it. It has to be a powerful phrase. And finally, to end our session, if you know that even now, in this moment, what have you done? You have an identity, you have a name, you have a purpose already in the world. Be proud of that. Number two, no purpose exists in the absence of fear. You have a fear too. Own that fear by naming it. Number three, you have a belief system. You believe in something. I believe in never giving up. You might believe in being brave. And number four, you always have an answer to your problems, don't you? If you're quiet and you say, I choose to change that language in my mind from saying I'm afraid to saying I'm afraid, but I will conquer it, you've already won the day. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that statement you made is what I call, and I'm putting it down for you here in bold. That statement is what I call your statement of purpose. And that is why we did that, so that you now have your own personal statement of purpose. Now, if you're with me and you enjoyed the session, 3 words, hands to the camera, I am enough. And with these promises to yourself, and with the courage in your veins that I know that flows through you and through me, and with the calling of administration and teaching, I wish you the very best. And I'm so grateful for your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. Can we take up some questions? There are some questions.
Yes, please.
Give me a minute. Yes, sir. There is one from Ethiopia, Etifa. And also the same question is reflected by another person, Gunasekaran. They both ask, I'm a teacher and I have, maybe he mentioned students, I have some people who are careless and who are not willing to develop themselves. What do I do with such kind of students? Although I'm willing to give, that's the whole idea conveyed.
Okay. So this is, if I'm to understand the question correctly, it's about dealing with students
That's right.
who are in an environment where everyone's encouraging, but they don't want to proceed.
Yes, that's right.
Right. This is the challenge, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's what I understood it to be too.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions which I can maybe club together with that?
Yeah, that's what the two questions. The two questions I combined. There's another one by Aminur Rahman. He asks, what teaches us more? Is it failure or success? That is from Aminur Rahman.
Okay.
There's another question from Priyadarshini. She asks, sometimes the choices we made will lead us to failures very unexpectedly. And
Yes.
what should be our key takeaway from such events?
Beautiful. These are actually very linked, these questions. Thank you, Gayatri.
And I am getting more questions. I think as you answer them, I will pull out the rest.
Okay, because I'd like to take on as many questions as we can. Hopefully, if I can add some value to your lives, it would be a privilege for me. So I'm going to try and address some of these questions right now. Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, if you'll humor me, I'm just putting up something on the screen here. 1 second, please. Yeah. While we answer these questions, I would like to share a small visual. If anybody would like to get in touch at some point in time, I'm more than happy to interact and engage. And here it is. Okay, so in answer to the questions, everyone, I'll just take these one at a time right now. I think the first question was dealing with difficult students, or rather students who find themselves in a place where they would not want to cooperate or progress or move. This reminds me of a situation. Now, we run a life coaching organization with some very difficult and hard to access geographies and territories. And some of these students have very poor access to quality education. Most of the time, you'll discover that the problem with a student who doesn't want to progress uh, isn't here. The problem is normally here. It's normally with what they're feeling. It's normally with what they're going through in their lives. And I've discovered a very important weapon in my coaching arsenal is what I call honest conversation. For the lady or the gentleman from Ethiopia and someone else who asked this question, I'm sure you've tried it, but sometimes consistency is key. Have you tried having an honest conversation with the person who is in a situation of not wanting to progress? And an honest question never begins with a why. You don't go up to someone and say, why aren't you coping? Why aren't you doing well? What's going wrong with you? These questions, why, what, how, always put the other person on the defensive, and you never get a good response from that. So yes, it's important to have a good, honest conversation with students who are clearly struggling. But the quality of how you go about that conversation matters more. What do I mean by the quality of the conversation? The conversation cannot be about you being more superior or knowing more or knowing better. You are putting up a wall if you walk in there saying, I have the answer to your problems. Your first challenge is getting the student to be honest with you. And I think in my experience, what works best is when you ask the student how they are feeling right now. Sometimes asking how, or could you, or would you, or just making a statement like, listen, I'm here for you right now. I truly believe that you might need a friend. I need a friend too. And if you'd like to speak with me about anything at all, I'm here for you. So start with that. Start with letting your students know that you're accessible, that you are a safe space. I want you to remember these words, a safe space. A safe space is a space for young people where they don't feel judged, where they don't feel like when they tell you something about their lives, they will be attacked. Your job as a teacher, increasingly as we go into a more complex world, is to build trusting relationships with the students you work with. So that would be, we could go on for a whole hour on strategies on how to deal with students who are challenged by various problems. But I think it all starts with an honest conversation. And the honest conversation begins with you taking your ego and your pride and your doctorate and your degrees out of the door and approaching the student as a human being, as a friend who is older and wiser, yes, but who doesn't want to give advice, who just wants to listen. So I'm going to answer that question with that. Try and encourage an honest conversation where you are not the talker or the lecturer, where you are a listener. Try and create a safe space that is free of judgment. And remember, the first time you offer it may not be the first time it happens. You'll have to consistently keep offering that space for engagement. And sooner or later, with kindness and with persistence, I know that even the most difficult situations can be overcome. So that's it from me for that question. The second question you had asked me, I hope that was helpful, but I will go to the next question. What teaches us more, failure or success? And I think we all already know the answer to that. But I'm going to share two words with you that I believe are part of all of this. The words are very simply, and you can write this down somewhere. I'm writing it down as well to remind myself about what it means. The words are perfect timing. You can put that down for yourself. Perfect timing. And if you know what I mean, let me try and elaborate on that. Everything in life has a time and a place and a season. There is a season for all things. There is a season for loss and a season for wins. There's a season for failure and a season for success. But the very fact that we look at life as a series of failures and successes is where I think we get it wrong in the first place. I don't call anyone a failure or a success. I don't look at any stumbling block that I've gone through in life as a point of failure. I look at life as a series of reflections and milestones. When you fail, I'm using these fingers, which means in quotes. When you fail according to the larger populace, what you've actually gone through is something they will never go through. Only you have had the privilege of going through that experience, right? Because only you were brave enough to do it. Sure, you may have looked like a fool. Sure, you may have lost a few brownie points in the process. Sure, you might have been beaten down, but you've gone through it. And as long as you get back up, you will be the only person in the world with that particular experience at that particular time in your life to learn that particular lesson and to turn that particular story into a reflection and not a failure. So that's what I mean by perfect timing. If you look at life as a series of moments that, yes, I understand sometimes you make bad choices, but no choice is ever bad if you learn from it and grow. So there's a phrase called let go, right? I'm sure you've heard of it. Let go, you made a mistake, let go. But how about you turn that into something that's more meaningful? Let go and let grow, GROW. Now you grow too. So you let it go, but it's time to grow. Okay, so that's my answer for failure or success. Don't look at it as a failure, look at it as a reflection, and it changes the way you look at life. Yes, Gayatri, anything else, ma'am?
Just a minute. There's another question from the same Priyadarshini. She says, sometimes our original ideas get copied by others.
Right.
They are not themselves. So is there any idea to help them discover themselves?
I'm sorry, you broke up. Can you repeat that, please?
He's asking, some of them, they copy others. They are not being original. And
Yes.
is there any way to help such people who are not original? That's the question.
You want the answer to, I think, an existential question. So what you're saying is, and I love the question, it's very challenging. How do you help someone be more genuine? I don't know if that's where we're going with this, but if that's the case, here's how I'd look at it. I think, first of all, as educators, we frequently find our ideas being copied. So I don't know if this is what she was going for or he was going for, but I will talk about this too. One of the biggest insecurities that we deal with is knowing that we worked very hard on a piece of paper. We worked very hard on a research paper. We worked very hard on a subject of interest. And suddenly you realize you are not the hottest thing in the market in that domain. You suddenly realize that there are many other people who are actually using words that you are using. They're using terms that you have invented. They're using phrases that you have put into practice yourself. And you think to yourself, how could this be? How could they dare to copy what I've done? And I want to tell you a reality and a truth of life. And as an entrepreneur, it's something I learned very early on. An idea, okay, hear me out. An idea is only genuine if it exists in your mind and nowhere else alone. The moment the idea has gone out into the world, I'm sorry to say, you don't own it anymore. That's the truth. An idea is no longer your idea the moment you put it out into the world. Now it belongs to the world. Now it's time to not be selfish. Once an idea is out in the world, you must remember, I have met academics in my life. And I'm sorry to say, are some of the most selfish people I'll ever meet. They refuse to part with knowledge. They refuse to share how they arrived at a learning. They refuse to help a young person shine because you're afraid I am no longer relevant. We've all been there. You think to yourself, here's someone who's new, who's talented, who's clearly copying what I'm doing, maybe doing it in a different way, and they're getting all the praise for it and all the recognition. And you say to yourself, that should have been me. Remember what I said? The grass is always greener.
Yeah.
But we've forgotten that an idea, once it's in the world, belongs to everybody. The only thing you have control over is two things. The first is, how deeply do you know the idea yourself? How deeply are you well versed in your subject? How experienced are you in your domain of knowledge? So that you don't need anybody else to validate that you're an authority on your subject. You must know that you're enough, and you are the only judge of that. So that's the very first thing, is knowing that you are in charge of how much you know about something. The second is, the strength of an idea is tested by how many times you've tested the idea, which means you've got to be brave enough to speak about it frequently, to write about it frequently. So the idea may have gone out there, but you need to move from an environment where you are small and you think he's copying me or they've copied me. You have to move from a mindset of worrying about what the next person is doing to a mindset of being a thought leader. A thought leader is someone who doesn't give a darn. Okay, I'm going to use the word a damn. Okay, I apologize, but this is important. Who does not bother about the opinions of other people, but is concerned with how much knowledge you have acquired for your area and how far you have taken that knowledge into the community to test it, to put it in practice, and to invite criticism for it and to learn from that and grow. So someone may have the idea you have, but they will not have two things. They will not have the experience and they will not have the mistakes that you've made that you've learned from. And that is the only way you gain power over an idea that is yours to begin with. The other side of the equation is, how do you get people to be more genuine? You get people to be more genuine by remembering that the schooling system and the education system today, as it is working very, very hard to kill your creativity. If you're a product of that system and you were not fortunate to meet a teacher like yourselves, maybe some of the special people in this room will create an environment where learners want to take risks. You have to remember that so many students are growing up in an environment where taking a risk to do something in a new way is not a risk worth taking, because you are looked at as a joke. If as a teacher you can create an environment in your classrooms that are safe, when I say safe, I mean it's safe to take a risk, it's safe to want to do something new. You celebrate the failures, you don't chastise them for the failure, you celebrate it. What you're doing is you're telling your students, hey, you have the space to be genuine, you have the space to be creative, do not be afraid, I'm here for you. And I think in that way, you're encouraging a spirit of genuineness and authenticity. I think that's how I would answer that question, Ms. Gayatri.
So yes, we have come to the end. All other questions seem to be repetitive. So I think we have done it. We'll move on to the vote of thanks. I invite Mrs. Parvati, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship and Information Systems Management, to propose the vote of thanks.
May I say one word before we head off, if that's possible?
Sure.
First of all, I recognize that there are many academicians and faculty members and scholars here. I want you to all know that it has been a privilege and a pleasure. I don't take this responsibility lightly. I hope that I've been able to serve you in some way today. I've put up my connection points. If you ever want to connect with me, I think the best thing we can do is share knowledge and be examples of the change we want to see in the world around us. So I'm always here, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity from the college, from the Bashir Ahmed Syed College for Women, and for Guru Consulting for this beautiful privilege. I'm very grateful this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Parvati?
Thank you, Gayatri Ma'am. Good evening to one and all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion on the closure of Day 6 International Faculty Development Program. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for having showered His blessings upon all of us and making today's program a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our management, our principal, Dr. Shana Ahmed, and Vice Principal, Dr. Firdos Jahan, for their constant support and encouragement. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our resource person of the day, Mr. Mark Lightstone, personal impact coach, motivator, and social entrepreneur, founder Avenues, Shillong, Meghalaya, for sharing your thoughts on reflection to be a purposeful leader, and also shared your knowledge on non-formal educational systems for tribal students and the importance of social entrepreneurs. You also shared regarding the purpose of an uncertain world and made us to realize who we are. And you also taught us that purpose is not just a word, it's why we do it, as purpose is now. Sir, you made today's program so lively and thought provoking. Once again, I thank Mr. Mark Frankstone, sir. You made today's session really a mark on all of us on leadership excellence and its reflection to be purposeful. The successful pinnacle of this international faculty development program was much to the head of the department, Dr. Barkat, and assistant head of the department, Dr. Gayatri, and my heartfelt gratitude extends to them, without whose efforts, guidance, and support, we would not have been able to accomplish this event successfully. And I'm also grateful to our associating partner, Ms. Nirmala Guru, CEO, Guru Coaching and Consulting LLC, Qatar, who accepted our invitation for collaboration without any hesitation. My gratitude extends further to my fellow faculty members of Corporate Secretaryship and Information Systems Management for playing an active role in all that we have achieved together as a team. Last but not least, I thank all the wonderful participants who have turned up in such huge numbers, not only from India, but also from across the globe. Thank you so much for your active participation. I once again thank each and everyone for you who have been a pillar for the successful completion of today's program.
Thank you so much, Parvati. Thank you. Thank you so much. Participants, your feedback form is being sent through the chat box. Please ensure that all of you fill before you leave. And if you're trying to access your feedback form from a mobile phone, I would suggest you swipe the screen down. You will get your feedback form. To those who say that the feedback form is not opening, I have another suggestion. If you can please copy the link and paste it into your browser, that way also it will open. Please try that. Mark, we will be staying some more time with the participants. If you have to leave, then you are. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Because these people will take some time to leave. They have to fill the feedback form. So we will be waiting for them. You know,
Thank you,
another,
thank you,
yeah.
thank you. So I'm
So we
stopping
don't
my
want to
recording,
hold you.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to stop my recording as well. Thank you very much. All the best. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much.